What is up, everybody? It is Mike here with the 3D printing news of this week. We have a lot to cover with you, so let's go ahead and get started. So just a quick friendly PSA, guys. I'm going to be coming out with these every Friday at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We've done it for the last few weeks. I will say I am discontinuing the Tuesday 6 a.m. release just because there's not enough 3D printing content, and I really just don't want to put out like poor quality content, or I'm just kind of stretching stories to make them work. So that being said, if you guys want to see any sort of other news or any sort of discussion videos on Tuesday mornings instead, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. So let's go ahead and get into our first story. Bambu Lab releases the H2D Pro. I think we've all been kind of waiting for the H2S, which we'll discuss here in a second, but the H2D Pro does come with some enhanced security features. You can take this thing pretty much completely offline. It comes with the Ethernet port, all of that jazz. There are a few upgrades to it. Most notably, it does come with a tungsten carbide nozzle, which supposedly is supposed to last a little bit longer. Now, why couldn't they come out with these security features or enhanced security features on the normal model? Who knows? I think it's just one of those things where in order to sell to some of these US contracted companies, first off, they can't be the company to sell it. And then second off, they need all of these different enterprise security stuff. Maybe a network engineer can let us know down in the comments below, and I'll happily pin that comment. But that is for sale. It is around, I believe it was $3,800. So a beefy price tag if you want that enterprise security. But I'm guessing for most of you watching, you're all going to be consumers that, frankly, well, if you were going to buy the H2D, you just buy the H2D, the normal version. With that being said, we do have the H2S. Right? We all have seen the leaks. I've been posting them on the channel. The H2S should be coming soon. The H2S also did get another leak. So first, let's recap what we've had so far. We've had this image where we're printing some sort of like venom-like creature or something like that. We can see that it has the Bambu Lab A1 nozzle and kind of that same tool head that you have on the Bambu Lab A1. It does have a few other upgrades, most notably as well. You can see the bed size is slightly bigger than anything that Bambu Lab is currently offering outside of the H2D. So outside of that, we also had this image where it showed a cutting module, basically showing that it could be installed on the H2D and also on the H2S. But since then, we haven't had too much in terms of leakage. I've been on record saying I do believe that there is another printer coming this year, and this image just might confirm that. This was in a Micro Center Discord thanks to a Reddit user. I will link that down below. It did show off that they had an H2S here at a Micro Center for an event on 9/6. So September 6th and September 7th, they show in the image below when you actually zoom out of the image. So it does look like in September we will be getting official word, at least that should be the latest, of the H2S. Maybe they'll have some there available for purchase. When they came out with the H2D, they also had quite a few printers that could also be purchased as well, combos, all of that jazz, right? The laser. So they're usually, when it comes to Bambu Lab, they're pretty good about actually having some in stock at launch. I couldn't get my words out there. Whoa. We're trying to keep this going fast, guys. Go. So in terms of new 3D printers, we haven't really had too much news. So we're kind of taking it as they give it to us. You know, we're still waiting on Creality. We're waiting on Elegoo to come out with their AMS. There's a lot of stuff we're still waiting on. I think September is going to be a busy month, right? That's the end of Q3. Elegoo said they're going to have their MMU at the end or before the end of Q3. So we should be getting that. We should be getting quite a few other, like the Creality K series. Maybe those will wait till November. We should get this Bambu Lab printer. So hopefully there's going to be a lot of news coming. I'm hoping we also see some new companies pop up. We have Snapmaker coming out with their 3D printer also as well. The embargo lifts, according to some of the YouTubers, on 8/19. We will talk about that and why I've slowly shifted away from even really thinking about backing this thing, especially with this new H2S, I think, launching in September. So with that being said, we also have this interesting type of investigative journalism here. What are we going to cover? So I did post something on YouTube basically showing that Mr. Prusa himself, I believe his name is Joseph. I don't know if that's how you say it. If I'm butchering this, just like I'm butchering the word butcher. But Joseph, Mr. Prusa, is it Prusa or Prusa? I've heard both ways. But Joseph has actually put on Twitter, or X now as it is called, that he was saying that Elegoo is owned by CCP. Now, why does this matter? For some of you, it's not going to matter at all. For a lot of us, it's not going to matter. Frankly, I don't care where you get your investing from. So bear with me as I kind of go in this a little further and we show you why it's slightly concerning that Elegoo is backed by CCP. So they do have two investors by PitchBook, right? So we have the BOFO fund, BOFO fund. I don't know if that's how you say it, but we have BOFO. They're actually owned by China South Publishing, which is actually owned then by a government group in China. So they're owned by the Chinese state government or state government, however you want to word it, or the CCP, right? They're owned by the Chinese government, essentially. So we also have this other investor group. I'm not going to butcher this name, but they are also a state-owned group. Now, you guys are probably still wondering, what is your angle on this? Why does it matter? Do you got beef with Elegoo? No, I don't really have beef with Elegoo. You know, I do think the Centauri Carbon was good. Okay, guys? Quiet. It's not like I think the printer's bad. But with that being said, well, we have this Reddit post where the Elegoo Centauri Carbon has been uploading insane amount of data. So according to the post, you guys should go and read it for yourself. There is a lot to cover here. I'm just giving you guys the general details. The Elegoo Centauri Carbon uploaded over 140 gigs of data in 7 days. Like, what are we doing? Like, and frankly, that is a lot. Now, I don't think there's anything for the Chinese government to really gain by monitoring what I'm 3D printing. It's, you know, they can access your other stuff on your home network where it gets a little bit concerning. But also, what is Elegoo uploading? 140 gigs of that data. Now, this isn't an isolated incident. If you actually look at the comments on this Reddit post, maybe they're just feeding this guy. But at the end of the day, if you read them, you take them, you know, you use the principle of charity by, you know, reading and taking everyone for their word. Then you look at it, and it's actually quite concerning how many people are having this happen. This is primarily concerning to those who are on a limited data cap. So if you have a limited data cap and you wasted 140 gigs on your 3D printer uploading stuff while you weren't even using it, that is, yeah, that kind of sucks. Or if you've noticed, if your internet has bogged down since you got the Centauri Carbon, you might want to check and see. Maybe unplug it for a few days and see if your internet starts working again or whatever it may be. I didn't notice any difference on mine when I was using it. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't had my Centauri Carbon plugged in for weeks. So it would be interesting if I plugged it back in and I noticed a difference. But I have fiber as well, so, and no data cap, so I'm not really concerned too much. But again, it is concerning if you're looking at data privacy. What is it uploading? Like, why is it uploading 140 gigs of stuff? Again, that is, guys, like, come on. No matter what company owned Elegoo at that point, it's pretty concerning what they're doing, right? Like, even if this was a United States company, it's pretty concerning uploading 140 gigs. Now, let's go over other companies. Like, so Bambu Lab is the only one I really researched. I also did Anycubic, but I didn't get anywhere with them. But Anycubic and Bambu Lab did have the same company invest in them, IDG Capital. This one has actually been linked to the Chinese military, or at least that's what people always say. They say, hey, this is another CCP-owned, state-owned government in China. If you actually do a Google search and do your homework, you'll find that the United States actually dropped them from the Chinese military ties list. Outside of that, they are actually, when it comes to Bambu Lab, still state-owned, but it's not the CCP. It's actually Singapore. And what comes to mind anytime I hear Singapore?
Have you ever been a member of the Chinese Communist Party?
Senator, I'm Singaporean. No.
So circling back to the Elegoo Centauri Carbon and this forum or the Reddit post, you can actually read in the comments, Elegoo did respond to it, but the response was kind of less. I mean, there was a lot to be desired when it comes to this response. They basically said, it's a nothing burger. Don't look at anything, you know. There's nothing to see here. We're not spying on you or nothing. But you know what? Maybe it is just very poor coding when it comes to their network stuff. I did also see comments that it could be very poor coding. But again, I don't know. If I boot my Centauri Carbon back up, I am going to use caution, and I'm probably only going to use the thumb drive. When it comes to 3D printers, is there really any reason to continually do software updates if they are working in their current state? I don't think so. So like, for example, I haven't re-downloaded my Bambu Studio update that I've currently had because everything is working for me right now. Or, you know, when it comes to the P1S, if it's working, why do I have, I don't need to update it, right? So once I boot my Centauri Carbon up again, I'm not gonna update it. I'm probably gonna disconnect the Wi-Fi, and if I find that it is doing anything interesting, I will probably get rid of it. So with Elegoo, this kind of begs the question, is this why they've been able to sell the Centauri Carbon at such a low price? So if you look at the post from Mr. Prusa again, he basically said it's a loss leader. And Elegoo's able to do this because they have the CCP-owned funds behind them. And so they're selling it at a loss. They're trying to take a lot of market share. Now, I was very skeptical they were actually making any money to begin with. I thought maybe they got the cost down to like 200 bucks. Personally, like, I look at a 3D printer, not just the Elegoo Centauri Carbon, Bambu Lab included, Anycubic included. I look at this and I say, is this really $500 worth of material? I don't think so. I think they're charging cost for it, and maybe that's why it's a loss leader when it comes to tariffs. And, you know, by the time they do all the returns, they had all those broken glass things and stuff. They definitely lost money on the Elegoo Centauri Carbon, like he was saying, but this is also probably one of the reasons that they could afford to, because they had some big pockets behind them, probably at low interest rates, things like that, and that's why they were able to do it. Now, also, if you look at some of his comments, you know, they get a very sizable tax write-off when it comes to research and development. So that also could be why they're doing it. They said, hey, we put a lot of research and development into the Centauri Carbon, and we know this is all going to be tax write-off. I don't know. Whatever it may be, Mr. Prusa seems to have some beef with all of these Chinese producers. And guess what? I'll be the first to say, guys, his prices are too much. When you look at the Core 1, it is too much. There's only so much customer service can make up for. And when you're looking at the Centauri Carbon versus the Core 1, yes, one is probably more reliable, but is it $600 more reliable? And probably even more than that, $900 in some cases? Absolutely not. I would rather buy 4 Centauri Carbons than one Core 1. Like, let's just actually sit down and be realistic about this. I get it. He's paying all of his people a living wage. He's doing all of these things according to him the right way, but it is just a hard pill to swallow when it comes to that price. And I do think I could probably manufacture something in the United States cheaper than that. I don't know. Has anyone ever looked into it? I know the Voron designs are kind of, you know, they get up there in price, but has anyone ever actually tried to source a 3D printer fully in the United States? Is it possible? I don't know. Let me know. Maybe if you made a big enough order. I don't think on solo parts you'd probably get there, but if you made a big enough order, maybe. But outside of that, guys, that is the 3D printing news for this week. Let me know if you guys enjoyed the episode. Leave a like on the video. Hit that comment button. Also as well, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Again, we're going to be going through every single Friday, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Every single Friday, the 3D printing news. Also, guys, let me know. I've seen a lot of you guys, you want tech news, but what do I report on? Do you want hardware news? Do you want new monitor? Do you want new product news? Maybe we can even do new technology news. But outside of that, guys, enjoy your weekend.